The meeting tonight is for the conduct of town business by the town board. The public is invited to participate at the items marked on the agenda, public comment. During that segment of the meeting, if you have a question or comment for the supervisor, please raise your hand and wait to be acknowledged. Please state your full name and limit your remarks to 3 minutes. Thank you for your anticipated cooperation.
Thank you, everybody. Welcome to the first meeting in May 2021. It's going fast. I'd like to start off the meeting with the Pledge of Allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance
To the flag
of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much, everybody. A moment of silence, please, for all our brave men and women fighting all over the world for democracy and freedom, especially for all our first responders, our local town and fire departments.
The explosion, the ability to make hard cuts, and most importantly,
Thank you very much. I don't see the chief.
I'll text him, see if he's coming on. There's a Bridget Supernova is coming on.
Okay. So I'd like to make an amendment to the agenda. I make a motion that under new business, we add tent for camp. So I need a second that motion.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? None being said, motion carried. A motion to approve the agenda with the amendment. I need a motion to approve the agenda with the amendment.
Make that
Make a
motion.
motion to approve the agenda as amended.
Need a
I'll
second?
second. I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
So moved. Thank you, gentlemen. Motion to approve minutes from the April 26, 2021 town board meeting.
Motion.
Need a second?
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? None being said, motion passed. Authorized payment of bills in the amount of $279,027.09. Authorize a motion to pay the bills.
Make that motion.
Need a second, gentlemen?
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Unopposed? Any opposed? We're paying the bills. Comments on the agenda? Any comments on the agenda? Okay. So today we have John Behan, Planning and Design, and I asked John to be here as a resolution before us. It's about the Milton train station park. That's the park to the west of the train station. As you know, we have a $98,000, around $98,000 grant that was left over from years ago. We were able to do a 50-50 match on that. We got $73,000 right now that Parks and Rec has given the town of Marlboro. So we have that in our bank account for that fund, for that park. There's $25,000 left from Parks and Rec, and you have to spend $50,000 to get to $25,000. So that being said, I think financially we're in pretty good shape, but the proposal as original was quite a bit more. So I talked to John and had a meeting with Howard and Rosemary, those that could make that meeting, and we eliminated certain things. So I wanted John to just go over those items that we eliminated to bring the budget down quite a bit, and any questions from the board to John. So this way we have everybody's on the same page and have an overall overall perspective of what we're looking at. So John, I'm going to turn it over to you. And you got it on mute. Oh,
Okay. Thank you, Al. Good evening, everybody. It's good to see you all.
Hey, John. Hey, John.
Hey,
John?
it's been a while.
Yeah.
Al, do I need to do anything to share my screen?
You should be okay, John. I gave you,
Okay. All right. Thank you. Let's see.
I don't see it yet, but
Okay. Let's see here. Let's see. Should be coming up. Do you see it now?
no, not yet, John.
Not yet. Okay. Let me see. Let me hit the button again.
You need that music like on Jeopardy.
Share one more time.
here, I think,
There you go.
There you
Something's
go.
going on now.
there you
Nah.
go. Good.
Yep.
We got it.
Okay. Okay, good. Okay. All right. So this is the series of construction documents that we prepared for the town. I don't know, I think it's 2 years back now.
Yep.
And so now here we are. There's several sheets. I'm focused on this plan here. This is it's probably the clearest drawing. Can you guys see my cursor moving around down there?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, good. So that's Old Indian Trail. Okay. This area is a proposed little head-in parking. This is over here is the wastewater treatment building. Okay. So we're all see where I'm talking about. And this is Dock Road that comes down here. Can you see that's kind of light and faint?
Mhm.
Okay. All right. And this is Watson Avenue right here, this intersection. So the proposed work originally included this parking lot here, this little head-in parking area, and as a permeable paver parking type of parking. But we're gonna cut that out because of the cost of that. And I think folks park there temporarily, not, it'll be okay to head in park, but if it gets too busy, we'll have to figure out something more permanent. But it's not a critical item. But the main thing we want to do, this is the pathway that was designed. You can see these are trees that are proposed. So the grading work is roughed in by the highway department. So this pathway would go all the way up, kind of follows the old road that went up there, the old cobblestone road. And there's 3 sets of stairs that would be put in to go up. And this path would be is 10 feet wide. There'll be drainage on the path between, kind of surface drainage, right? Between the pathway and the road. We did put a swale in there. The pathway itself would be made out of porous pave. It's a kind of it's a stone pavement that has an acrylic binder that's permeable. And we're using that to help deal with drainage on the site. This little path here, so this would be like a whole green area. This little path on this side was going to be that porous pave, but we've modified the specification to make that stone dust. It's still, this is still a fairly steep pathway. It's 10% or more in grade, and the main path. And so the pavement is important to keep a path in place so it doesn't wash out. And there's a planting plan. So it's kind of a basic site improvement plan. The main cost will be the pathway and the stairs. And then at the top, I don't know if you remember, I'm going to page down here. There was like an overlook structure that we had planned for, and we would like to do at some point, but that, I'm going to show you that here. Even though it's small, it's not an inexpensive item. And so that would not be done right now, but there would be a footing put in, so that could be done later by volunteers or the town or some other future grant. These are some of the construction details. I won't get into all those, but in the construction notes. There still would be some work that the town would need to do after this if the town agrees to let this go out. Some signage, some minor things, some of the other items. To keep the costs The cost is gonna be approximately $193,000 is our estimate for construction. 13,500 for construction admin and inspection. The total cost is around 207,000. Now, that does not include any contingency or any field changes, et cetera. We would normally want to budget something for that around 14%, which would put the number up of around 235,000. We were reluctantly going to put in a deduct alternate for the landscaping and soil, which would potentially save around 48,000. We would do that. We wouldn't recommend it, but we would do it if the town really was concerned about getting it done and getting the bids out. We would recommend it be kept in. Otherwise, the park would not look that finished. That's really it. I think the original costs, if we did everything, all the signage, all the trails, the parking, et cetera, we were north of 300,000 to do it, which, in the scheme of park work is, not an exorbitant, but it's a lot of money for, I understand, for the town. So what we'd like to do is get this out to bid. I've proposed around a June 29th bid opening. And we have, the final advertisement would set that once we figure out with state parks, if there's any new requirements, et cetera, which we need to go into the bid. But we are under the old rules, which they're a little less onerous in terms of all the red tape the town would have to go through. It's gotten more complicated. So because it's an old grant, we'd go under those rules. We just go back one little bit. If you can see, I'm going to zoom in a little bit just to show you. There's these staircases here that was designed. We also partnered with Pitt, Garrow and Doach. They're an engineering firm, and they between us and them, we worked out all the grading for these staircases. These would be granite stone, just a solid stone laid up with a thermal finish and then a simple iron pipe railing. At the top here at Watson, there'd be a concrete pad the overlook could be built. The town has done all this work, and now it'll be quiet. The culvert and drainage work. They've done a lot of work here. It really is. They did a great job. It was not easy going to rough this in. They got rid of this foundation. We showed it to be removed as this, like maybe two-car garage size concrete. Was actually, I would say, 10 times that big. The old foundation for the structure that was there. They jackhammered all that out. So they've taken it pretty far. So this would be what you call the surface treatment finish work that would go out, would be part of this bid. And Al, there's a resolution I think that you guys have on your agenda for this. But I'm open to any questions or thoughts from the board, if there are any.
The total cost is what, John, for this again now?
The total cost, not counting
Estimated?
contingencies, is 207,000.
107. What do we have right now, Al?
73,000. We have to spend 50,000 more to get 25,000. That brings us up to about 100,000. So I thought it was around 180,000, but that's not without the 13,000 for yourself.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, it's about right.
So
Mhm.
we really don't know exactly where these bids are going to come from, if they're going to be high or low, or because of the what's happening out there now. Material is pretty high and stuff like that. But I wanted the board to get a feel and ask John questions that are relevant to the project. I was able to get one more year extension on this project from Parks and Rec, so that's very important. Personally, like the rest of the stuff, the Sands Avenue and hopefully CAF will open up for the Milton Landing. I like to, at this particular time, try to get as much done as possible this year. It'll spruce the whole landing up and make it look a lot better in my my eyes, or how I feel. But that's why I brought it up to the board. It's a lot of money, and so I need some guidance here from the board, what they feel.
My question to you is, I mean, if we're ready to put this out to bid, if the bid comes out much higher than, the low bidder is much higher than what you're talking now, we have the right to turn it down, correct?
Yeah, that's correct. All
Because
bids that we have to.
and where the rest of the money is coming from the general fund, I take it?
We'll have some more, we'll have some money left after we do the Sands Avenue, due to recreation fees and stuff. Not a hell of a lot, but I think we'll have enough maybe to finish this, or get very close without going into any other funds.
Well, you're
But
talking about, we're gonna need over 100 grand, correct?
yeah, close to that. So
About 100.
very close to it. So the whole thing is that we probably have some rec monies left over. I forgot, I didn't check with Chris, but Sands Avenue is going to eat up quite a bit of that with the recommendation from Howard and Scott tonight. So I really don't know. Probably maybe some money from the fund balance, or if there's any other money left over, but I don't know what the exact. We don't know what the bids are going to be. If the bids are over the 180,000, then I think it's a no-brainer. We'll have to wait and see what happens until things cool down. But just like anything else, it's a feeler out there to find out really. It could be lower for all we know. I don't know. It's an opportunity, probably. That porous pavement there is an opportunity for local landscapers also to join in the bid also. So. That's why I brought it to the attention of the board. So
What's the cost to put it out to bid and everything?
the bid package has already been supplied by, it's been already done by John Behem. And
Did we
so
pay for that already?
Excuse me?
Did we pay for that already?
Yeah, we did. It's one of the stipulations. You have to have a bid package for the from Parks and Rec before
Gotcha.
you do anything for any kind of thing when you have a grant. So that was added in about 2 years ago. The board approved that.
John,
But this is a modified bid. This is a modified bid package though from the original, right?
Yes, it is. Yeah, we've scaled it back.
And so you already did that modification, John?
Yes, we have. There's one little item to go, which is we need to change that footing design at the top of the hill. That's not been designed. That little pad, there's a pad that goes up at Watson.
Yeah.
And that has to be, but we would do that as part of our construction admin fee, and we made that we reduced that down to, 13,500 to take this through final sign off with you. So, yeah, it's been reduced. We've reduced a lot of the scope.
I mean, would it be, my only concern is, we all want to get these things done, is that we are spending a lot at Sands Avenue right now. And we're not 100% sure where we're going to go with that. Would it be better just to concentrate on the main walkway here instead of all the rest? Just because that seems like the biggest expense here and the hardest work.
Yeah.
Is that scaling it back too much, or?
I think so, because then the no area on the top there, I guess I can't, could I do this? I guess.
This area here, Al?
Yeah.
yeah, you can't touch it now.
Don't let him touch the drawings, you guys.
Yeah, I mean, if you were gonna do it, the scaled down version, I think when we met with Alan and Gail and stuff, we went over this pretty much and, but like I said, I asked John to scale it back and he did quite a bit. I think if we were to, if the end product was something like this, I think it'd be, it'd be great, especially with the porous walkway off from Watson and then the little pad on the top that John indicated. It just, it'll pop better, I think, Scott. That's my opinion.
No, I don't doubt you. I'm just getting a little
No, I
worried
didn't say you
about the money
doubted me.
now.
I just, that was my opinion.
I mean, I'm just getting a little worried about money now that we're going on to a second park. We haven't even finished the first park. That's what I'm getting a little concerned about here. And I understand we're tight for the matching of the money, but
Yeah,
it's,
that's a concern. John, what was the 40K deduct that you spoke about? I wasn't.
Well, that deduct would take basically, everything in this drawing you see here besides the paths would be left as is.
So
Right?
no
There
tree,
would be
no tree.
no topsoil, no seed, no trees, no shrubs, it wouldn't feel like a park when you're all done. I mean, you'd have to deal with it later,
Yeah,
but you would get the hardscape done, I mean, it's not an ideal solution. Like I said, I would reluctantly put it in as a deduct alternate or an add alternate. That way, if the bids came in a little high, but below that number, you could still award it because looking ahead, the grant, the grant needs to get, if you want to do it, the grant, I'm not sure if the town wants to walk away from that money and the prices probably won't come down next year,
right.
but anyway, that's what I would do. And like I said, I'm not recommending it, but at least you'd get to
Basic.
have the hardscape done if you would.
And when does this expire, Al?
So this is my third extension
And we were extended to when? I'm sorry,
this year,
the end of this year.
2021.
Just say, guys, just taking it all in here is Scott's right with everyone's correct here with as far as Al saying, when it's done, it would pop. I get that. Scott's correct with, we are expending a lot of monies on parks right now. We haven't even finished the one we started already. I would kind of say, I wouldn't mind moving forward, but I would like to see a scaled back, with the trees. I mean, we know what the trees cost to be planted. I get it. But I mean, if we can get the hardscape work done, the solid stuff done, we can always build on that and not walk away from the grant. I don't think it's the best way to go, but I think it might be the only way to go at this point, because I don't know if we're going to be able to find, money's laying around to complete it the way we would like it complete. That's my 2 cents on that. But at least we would have a foundation that we can build on, you know what I mean? Whether it's, coming across some CFA money, maybe a couple Eagle Scouts will throw in and do a couple trees. I don't know, but at least we have, the outline done and we can actually kind of fill it in as we go.
Well, maybe, so when we do the trees for Sands Avenue, maybe we could just bundle in the trees for this.
Sure.
I'm just.
How many trees are in the plan, John?
Looks like, I counted them up, it's like 13, wasn't there? 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah, I'd have to look. There's
13, I think.
okay. Yeah.
I think.
There's 18 evergreen,
Okay, more.
yeah, they're not giant, 7 to 8 footers. And then there's a dogwood, a few dogwoods, 8 dogwoods, and then 5 tulip poplar, Liliodendron tulipifera. And then some small shrubs, ground covers to kind of help stabilize the soil. They're, it's not a huge planting, 121 of those and some other things. And then there'll be some, there's 2 types of grass seed, wildflower mix, and another seed to kind of help hold it all together. So, yeah.
What's the
You're
estimate for
right.
all
It's not
that,
it's a
John?
modest plan.
Yeah.
What's the estimate for all the trees and the plantings and all that stuff? Do you have that broken out?
Yeah, I think to tell you the truth, I guess the cost is mostly topsoil and installation. And so I think I got like 48,000 for all this, bringing the soil in, spreading it top,
That's the deduct you would, the ultimate
yeah, right.
48,000, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And what is it? What is the cost of just the main walkway down the main walkway?
I
Do
don't,
you have that broken out?
that's the largest number. Between that and the stairs are kind of combined items. I do have it
Right,
in an
those two
estimate.
things.
It's
Wouldn't it be about 207,000 minus the 48K alternate deduct?
yeah, I don't know. It's a little more complicated than that, but there's a lot of
Why do you have
items.
to make it complicated, John?
Well, I know you think it's not, but it is. Even a little thing like this.
Well, roughly, just roughly.
I let's say roughly, here's all the paths, I think you're looking at 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 80, 90,000, 100,000, something like that.
So 100,000. And Al, we have right now we currently have about 73,000, right?
Yeah,
And if we put up 50, we're gonna get another 25,
right.
right?
That gets us to about.
So 150. So that means if we put in 50, we get another 25, and we have that. We got about roughly 150,000.
Yep.
And only cost us 50,000 at this point, right?
It would only cost us 25,000 actually, because the 73,000 is basically all gratis money from the highway department done back when they put the culvert in and all that. So we haven't spent a penny except for the money we spent for John.
No, I get that, but we have to put up 50 to get the other 25, right?
Yeah, yes.
Does that have to be
That's true.
cash, Al, the 50?
It doesn't have to be cash, is what you're saying?
No, it doesn't have to be
Okay,
cash.
so it could be the gratis.
Yeah,
Contribution. Yeah.
So I mean, is there a way to get something that is, we get, like Alan said, we're getting the main foundation of this done for somewhere around the 150,000 mark? And what can we get for the 100? I mean, to go to the 250,000, I think we're gonna stretch ourselves a little
I thought it
too
was
much.
180. This plan was 185, John, if I looked at the numbers, I forget. And there's
Well, it might have, yeah,
and then $13,000 for your money brings us.
yeah, well, I think, just to be clear, I think when you first asked me to look at this again, we pulled up the 2019 estimate,
Yeah,
right? And so what we did was we adjusted all those numbers, right? And we moved things, but I think the number I have is 193,000 plus the 13,526. I'm as you folks are speaking.
That gets us to 207.
Yeah, one possibility would be to put out to bid like you said, the hardscape, the path work. There's drainage work involved too, which is integral to that, right?
Right.
Yeah.
That's why I say it's the landscape work, maybe we could just do that as see what it is, get this done and do it as a field change or some other, type of,
Mhm.
type of,
You can always put adults, right? We can always put adults into the into it, like, but
Right.
they'd have to bid on it, but we could,
yes, we could,
I
right?
mean,
exactly.
I would be in favor of putting a couple adults, and that way we
Okay,
get the mainscape done that we know that has to be done with the drainage, and then you put in a couple
okay,
adults, and then the board has a couple of decisions where we could say, yeah, let's go with that or not go with that. I mean,
sure.
I don't know, that would be my opinion.
And I think more importantly, we wouldn't be walking away from the grant money, which to me, that would be crazy for us to do. You know what I mean? So this is kind of a tough spot to be in.
Yep.
There's a lot going on in town with parks, and this is, I don't want to lose this because this will be a gem. And to walk away from that money would be a mistake.
We don't want you to lose it. No, and we have been working on it, so it's not like it's
Yeah.
a new project we've been working on.
Yeah, a lot of hard work went into keeping that money. So I don't want to walk away from it.
well,
So what would
we
it?
could do that, and like Scott had recommended, like we could do, and we could get we could be blown out of the water.
Right,
with
right.
the
We don't even
estimate,
know.
Right.
Yeah.
We don't
exactly.
know, so that's the whole point of, that's why that's what I suggested John come here and talk to you
Sure.
all. about the plan and the modifications we did make. So we could present the RFP that way, if John's okay with that, and see exactly, what those bids will look like. And we could, like Ed said, we could, if they're over the amount that was budgeted, then we could refuse those bids. But like I said, sometimes you never know.
No,
And that
I agree.
porous pavement could be done, John, basically, most landscapers could do that, right?
Well, it's similar to concrete work, Al,
Mhm.
right? So it's a mix. You mix it, you spread it, and you screed it, you have, up against forms. Yeah. So somebody that is experienced at that kind of work could be able to do it. Yeah.
So what's the board's desire, and how would you like to proceed?
Well, Scott suggested a couple of alternative add-ons or whatever the term is. What were those, Scott? One for trees?
Well,
and
I think,
one-
if John could break it down, the more adults, I think, the better options we have. I mean, of course, you got to have the main one, I would call A, would be the main walkway coming down with the stairways. You're going to have, that's the biggest expense, as John said, right?
Right,
So,
the pad on the top and then the porous material and the steps.
right. So that's like a main one. That's going to be your biggest item. And then maybe like the landscaping on the top section is like alternate B, the landscaping in the middle with the secondary path of sandstone is alternate 3. Even, you could even go as far as putting the parking lot in as alternate 4. I mean, I think the more options we put out there to bid, it doesn't hurt to get a bid. Then we have an idea of what these things actually cost in today's world. We're not sure what they actually cost. And then the board has options to say, okay, we'll do A, or we'll do B, or do B and we'll do A. I think the more options we can get, I think for the board to decide is the best. And then if we pick one of them or we pick 2 of them, we don't lose the grant money, right? So.
Right. We don't want to do that.
And I would leave that to John. John knows best how this can be broken up in a way that would be suitable, I would guess. I'm assuming.
Is that right, John?
Yeah, we could do it. And either way, add alternates is fine. And they have to be in order. Yeah. And then
Right.
The only thing I would just make everyone aware of is we'd have to figure out what happens if we don't do it. We have to tell the contractor what to do in those areas, right? But that we can do that in the plans, just, so.
So is the board comfortable with that? I'm comfortable with it. Just the unknowns, not knowing what things cost today. I think we'll find that out. I think that's a good approach. We okay with that?
I'm good with it.
I'm good.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we can proceed on that basis, board. We could, just put the bid package together with add alternates as you suggested. Put that into the documents. And then when it comes back, you can review the bids and see where we are.
So
Okay.
is the resolution we have in front of the board, John, is that still pertinent to what we just talked to?
Yeah, it doesn't, that resolution still will work,
Okay,
right? Yeah. And even the date, we may, I think we have a date in there that date gives us a little flexibility too, but that's what we'll shoot for, to try to get it out by, I think, June 29th, I think we said.
Yeah.
Yeah.
okay.
Yep.
Yeah, and I'll, if the board's okay, I'll get the okay to notice of proceed and we'll move forward. The board good with that?
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'll take care of the resolution. Thank you, John, very much.
Okay.
Thank you for your patience. Appreciate it.
You're welcome, everyone. Great to see you all again. And
Thanks,
I'll,
John.
yeah,
Thanks, John.
Thanks a lot.
very
Thanks. Have a
welcome.
good night.
Good night.
Okay, sorry about that. Hate spending money, don't we?
Yeah,
No doubt.
Absolutely.
But, sometimes, we're fortunate enough to get the 73,000 that, from all the hard work that the highway department, even before John Alonji, Gail Appler did with all the culvert stuff down there. And it was, it was nice that they accepted that and gave us the 50% on all that. So thank you, board. Thank you for that. Reported departments. So supervisors report. Met with Ulster County representatives and Chief Kokoza to determine site for a vaccine clinic. That clinic was pretty successful. About 140 people came to that clinic. Met with Emma Grana and Water Superintendent Maggio, discussed her silver medal Girl Scout project to install the water fountain for the Milton Dog Park. Talked with Charlie, he's going to help out with that fountain needs drainage. So before we do the concrete and all that, there's some plumbing work that has to be done. Charlie has gracefully said that he would help. And hopefully we'll be doing that within the next couple of weeks. I met with Peter Hoffman and the representatives of the company to install cameras at the Milton train station site to record passing trains. Evidently, this is a big item for a lot of people that like to sit at home and watch the trains go by. So there's a location where we could see the southbound and the northbound. Attended a virtual meeting with the Ulster County Town Supervisors, talked about camps, of course, was the headline. Haven't received anything from the state yet on camp procedures, but hopefully we'll get there. Some people are not having their camp, like the town of Plattekill, they decided not to have it. Other people are actually having them, but are cutting back quite a bit. We're not cutting back that much, Scott, as you know. We're cutting back on hours from 8:30, I think, to 2:30. And we're cutting back from the ages from 5.5 to 13. So minor changes.
Yep.
Attendant of the two town board planning board meetings, very interesting. Those guys have been busy. They've been doing a great job. Met with the Marlborough School District representative, including Superintendent Brooke and Chief Kokoza, to discuss school traffic issues, and we met there. They decided to hold off on the buses, right, Chief? Let them come down. It seemed to alleviate some problems, but I still think it still backs up pretty good. Until parents feel safe to put their kids on the bus, I think that's gonna continue. And they do a good job, but it's just so many parents decide not to put their kids on the bus. I told my daughter the buses are empty, so I think it's even, why wait 2 hours on an hour in line, getting there early. And she did. She took my advice, and they actually put another small bus on. And so this way they could do the social distancing. And the kids are great. They wear their masks. I mean, they're a lot better sometimes than some elderly people. So anyhow, that worked out. I met with the school. I met with the Boy Scouts to discuss possible projects in the community. One of the projects that were brought up was the nature trail, and also by the planting in the middle of the Marlborough Hamlet with the flagpole to paint that. They chose to work with Tony Falco on the nature trail, so I have to get somebody to spruce that center up now that the flagpole has been completed to something that I'm happy with. I wasn't happy with the first go around. They didn't do the scraping of the chips. They just painted over. So until they made it right, I wasn't going to pay them. So they made it right. They actually grinded a lot of it down. It looks very nice now. So we'll get somebody to do that. If not, I'll do it myself. Joined Ulster County Executive Pat Ryan in the ceremony to honor Zabrowski family at the Ulster County Veterans of the Month, and Legislature Tom Corcoran was there with myself and a bunch of people. Not too many people. They didn't want a big crowd there because of the COVID. It was a great honor for me, and I'm sure for Tom, to see that family and the service those three people gave to their community and to their country. So that was a great thing that Pat Ryan came down. They do this every month, so it's a good thing for our veterans to be honored. Had several meetings with Tina Rosa and the new director for summer camp, as well as with Councilman Corcoran. It's moving forward, so I'm very happy about that. And they're doing a great job. And a lot of credit goes to Tina Rosa, just doing all the different, getting all the stuff ready, the registration stuff, getting the families familiar with the COVID and what we're doing, and social distancing and stuff like that. And I had several trips to the Milton Landing, up a portion and with Sands Avenue, and so grateful for all the people that are doing that, such a great job up there, really professionals, from the bulldozer guy to our highway department to Dave Zambito volunteering numerous hours down there. Very, very grateful. The town should appreciate the volunteerism that's there, especially with Dave. And it's really coming out really great. And thank you to Howard, Councilman Baker and Councilman Corcoran to put a lot of that stuff together that we'll go over today. And there'll be an ask for some more money. So we'll move forward on that. And respectfully, Alan said, I just want to add one more thing. I had the pleasure today to go to a press conference with Senator Skoufis and Assemblyman Jacobson, and they were talking about, it was at the school, at the elementary school with Superintendent Brooks, and Frank was there, Milazzo, the president of the Board of Education, and it was all about the foundation money that the Skoufis has and Jacobson has restored back to the town, back to the school district. Back in 2019, we were ahead of the curve. We had a meeting with James Skoufis and Assemblyman Jacobson in Assemblyman Jacobson's office with Howard Baker, myself, and John DeMarco at that time. And we were talking about different avenues for monies because of the two power plants going down, and the town of Marlborough being like the highest taxed town in the county. And so what this foundation money does, it restores close to $5 million over 3 years, I believe. First thing is like 1 point something. I got it marked down, 1.9 million. So that's a big jump for the school district. Anything that helps school tax helps all our people. So that's a big burden off there. And I was interested too that I didn't realize in that package was pre-kindergarten. About 45 young people will be going pre-kindergarten to the school. So it had a lot of good stuff in it. Assemblyman Jacobson and Senator Skoufis are good people for the town of Marlborough. They look after us. So kudos to them. It was a great honor to be there. I guess it reduces taxes 3%, minus 3%. We'll see what the taxes look like when we see what, Sydney puts together for our assessments. So I just want to let everybody know that I did attend that, and it was a great honor. And I wanted to give thanks to Senator Skoufis and Assemblyman Jacobson, along with Superintendent Brooks. So moving forward, we have the building inspector. Hi, Tom.
How's it going? Building inspector's monthly report ending April 2021. Certificate of occupancy 1, request for information 20, trailer park renewals 7, building extensions 4, fire inspections 12, fire calls 1, ZBA applications 3, order to remedies 12, complaints 29, burn permits issued 5. Building permits, we had 5 burning permits, 1 carport, 1 commercial building permit, 9 decks, 1 demolition, 2 electrical, 10 pools, 5 roofs, 8 sheds, 6 single-family homes, 4 solar panels. Total permits 52. Estimated cost of building $4,495,604.40. Monthly revenues, certificate of occupancy 150. Permit extensions 1173.50. Building permits 21,944.63. Request for information is 2,000. Fire inspections, 1,000, trailer park renewals, $2,675. ZBA applications, 900, escrow and ZBA is 2,100. Total monthly revenues for the building department, $31,943.13. Total gas usage, 104 gallons, and total miles was 1,556.
Any questions for Tom?
Nope.
Tom, when's that burn permit?
May 15th, we'll go back active again. So the burn permits you see, again, it was agricultural, because agricultural is exempt from the burning ban.
Very good. Very good. Thank you very much.
Yep.
Chief?
Good evening, everybody. How are you today?
Good,
Hey,
Chief.
Jerry.
What's happening?
Activity summary for the month of April 2021. Personal injury auto accidents 2, fatal 0, property damage accidents 7 for a total of 9 for the month. Vehicle and traffic summonses issued 19, parking violations 1. Complaint activity, total blotter entries 1,639, with a total arrests of 12. Telephone calls handled 1,899 calls. We had 24 hours of overtime for part-time dispatchers. Full-time officers and dispatchers are attached. Police mileage for the month, 10,626 miles. We used 1,121.677 gallons of fuel. We had 1 use of force on an event where we had to put hands on somebody, take them into custody. We've had 0 civilian complaints for the month of April. And Mr. Baker had asked me to add a section in there as sort of a progress report for our police reform agendas that came across. I didn't make it into this report, but I am proud to report that we are sending 3 officers to CIT training in June. That's a 40-hour training, 8 hours a day, to help continue on that police reform. And sort of unrelated to police reform, but related to the new law changes, we got an officer into something called street cannabis and driving. It's a new class that DCGS offered. We got one of our officers into it. He's taken that. He's also scheduled for an A-Ride class, which is like the advanced DWI course. And then hopefully, if he does well on all that, we may drive him towards hopefully getting him as a drug recognition expert. But that's a huge jump and a little bit of an expense. So we'd have to figure out how we might get that, possibly a grant to pay for that. That's an extensive training and it requires him to leave the state. So if it goes that route, we would look for funding for that, and hopefully Stop DWI will help us out, because the county and the state are looking for DREs, and with the new law changes, I think driving with the ability impaired by drugs is going to increase. And that's what we're looking to combat. So we'll move forward with that. I should have an actual guidance or list of the police reform suggestions and our status on that for next month's meeting.
Great. Jerry, where
Thank
the CIT training is, where is that being done? And is it,
That is being sponsored by the Ulster County Sheriff's Office.
so then that's a new program with them then, sort of.
That's the same training that Sergeant Pascal and a couple of the other officers went to last year,
Yeah.
but
okay.
that's the first one of this year. They usually do 2 a year.
Yep, okay.
So that's the first one of 2021.
What does the acronym stand for? The CIT, what does that stand for?
Crisis intervention training.
Crisis intervention.
Thank you.
That was one of the suggestions made by the committee, that we try and get everybody through this training, all full-time, part-time officers. The only issue with that is not only do we have to pay for them to go to that, the class itself is free, but we have to pay the time that they spend in the class, plus cover their road patrols. So it kind of hits us twice. But I got 3 guys that are willing to go, 2 part-timers and a full-timer. The part-time guys, we don't really backfill. We'll just keep them off the schedule so we don't get hit twice with them. But the full-time guy,
Who was
is-
that? Gary?
what's that?
Who's the full timer we're sending?
Travis Merrick.
Mhm.
So that'll that guy will have to backfill, but it's not so bad. So I'm looking forward to that and getting that done.
Great.
We
Thank you.
have feelers out looking for a dispatcher.
We actually are looking for 3 dispatchers now. We have to fill in for the 2 of the part-time dispatchers, and of course, we'll work with the county to look for the full-time dispatch. The problem is the list is expiring. We may have to wait for the new test. But we're still looking, and we're working on that. We'll see how that goes. No progress on that yet.
And so would you have part-time? I mean, how do you fill in the gaps?
So the part-timers have picked up the slack.
Okay.
They were more than happy to. Once we hired that full-time dispatcher, their hours got cut
Okay.
in half. So they were more than happy disappointed that she left, but more than happy to take her hours.
Any other questions for the chief?
Thanks, Jerry.
Hey,
Thank
you
you.
look like you look like you're having too much fun.
I like
Relax.
these meetings this way.
What?
Okay.
I like these meetings. I like the way they go like this on the Zoom. I'd much rather keep
I
it
bet
this
you
way.
do. I think
It's
everybody
relaxing.
does. So, Alan, would you like to do John Alonji's?
Yeah,
You could do it?
yep.
Thank you.
Okay, Highway Superintendent Report, monthly report for April 2021. Roads, we removed an old guide rail on Bailey's Gap Road on 4-5 Chemung Supplies crew, along with some of our crew, installed a new guide rail. We did litter patrol throughout the month. We collected 40 bags on Highland Avenue and 35 bags between Gabberty Road and Bailey's Gap Road and Mahoney Road. On 4-6, we put our street sweeper into service. We started with road sweeping along with cleaning the swales throughout the town. We also continue doing lawn repair from the winter plow season. Brush/weeds on 4-5 and 4-6. We worked with dealer runs of Tree Kid, remove trees on Bingham Road, South Road, Bailey's Gap Road, Old Indian Road, Chestnut Lane, Lions Lane, Old Post Road, and Purdy Avenue. We also removed trees at the dog park. At the end of the month, we rented a stump grinding machine to remove the stumps we created from all the tree removal. We continued tree trimming along all roads. Town parks on 426 and 430. A crew worked at the town's dog park, removing blacktop and relocating it to the landfill. They cleaned and chipped brush along with some tree removal and prepped a designated area for topsoil. They delivered 3 loads of millings and applied it on the roadway. Shared services on 422, we assisted the water department with a water main break on Hudson Terrace in Marlborough. Landfill, we sent 2 men up to the landfill to help Larry pick up garbage. Fuel usage, gas, 239.812 gallons, diesel, 1,299.701 gallons. Respectfully submitted, John Alonji. And it's terrible that people are throwing that much garbage on our roads. I thank John for
is.
sending the crew to
You
clean
know,
it, but I mean, what a disgusting behavior.
I can't, I think it was yesterday, I took my son down to the landing. And then I couldn't take it. I ended up picking up all the garbage, and the guy looked at me. I said, I don't get it, you know. I don't get it. It's, you know,
I don't either.
I don't.
Well, Al, there was a lot down at the landing, like a lot of, like styrofoam bait holders and pizza boxes and all the other stuff.
Yeah.
Like, what was it?
There was a
Like,
lot of stuff on the west side of the tracks where everybody parked.
Yeah,
So I
It's
used to
just-
go there. So,
a lot of it, the park gets busy for striper season, and a lot of those guys are just, they're just a little bit lower
Is that due
forms of
to
life.
new people coming to fish? in
Yeah,
the
they're
area?
outsiders. So they're outsiders looking, and they're guys looking for a place
Yeah,
to
that's what I
fish.
figured.
And I mean, I can call them something else, but they're just, they're a lower life form, some of the people who do that. And you can see it along the railroad tracks. When I would fish, like from the shore, I would see, and guys, they're just slobs, period, slobs.
Yeah, it's a shame.
Witnessed somebody throw out garbage right across from the post office, 2 huge bags of McDonald's garbage. And I said to them, "What are you doing?" And I actually got in my car and followed them. And I tried to get their license plates to give to Jerry because they just rolled down their windows and threw 2 large bags of McDonald's garbage on the ground right in front of me. I was appalled,
Yeah, it's
totally
ridiculous.
appalled.
Sometimes the police
disgusting.
could get in that garbage and find addresses and stuff.
Yeah, well, I tried to take a picture of their license plate, but they were moving and I couldn't get it, but
Yeah, it's
it was
unbelievable.
terrible.
Be
To-
careful.
Totally,
Colleen.
totally disgusting.
Yeah, they might retaliate.
I know, but it just was so upsetting.
Would you like to do Charlie's?
Was really upset.
Sure.
I can do it, yeah.
I got my glasses on here.
Oh, okay, go ahead, Scott. I thought you said me.
Oh, sorry. Charlie Majeo, Water Department, 5/10/2021, monthly report for April. Water consumption totaled 16,272 million gallons, which is a daily usage of 542,400, compared to last month of 16.849 million gallons, which is a daily usage of 543,600. Compared to a year ago, water consumption was 13.602 million gallons for the month, with a daily usage of 453,400. Summary for the month: hydrants, we started weed whacking around the hydrants. Water mains, we had to repair an 8-inch water main at Hudson Terrace with the help of the highway department. Service lines, we had to repair a service line on West Street. We also had to put a new service shut off on Old Post Road. Meters, we had to replace a meter at Rosa Drive. Storage tanks, we took water and sample out of our storage tanks to test for bacteria, and also had to increase the chlorine levels in the tanks. Town parks, we got the park ready for the season at the pavilion, installed sewer pumps, and installed a chlorinator pump. Service line inspection, closings 4, markouts 60, gallons of gas 200, gallons of diesel 25, mileage for the month 1,600. Respectfully, Charlie Majeo.
Thank you, Scott. Thank you very much. Colleen?
Town clerk monthly report for April 2021. Burn permits 1 for $10. Conservation 4 for $9.12. Dog licenses 37 for a total of $205. Water services 1 for $1,500. Transfer station permits 6 for $285. Punch cards 34 for $1,945. Marriage licenses 5 for $87.50. Building department fees 1 for $15,348.20. Fire fees 1 for $735. Accident reports 4 for $20. Certified copies 5 for $210. Photo requests 1 for $1.25. Junkyard licenses 3 for $750. Park fees 7 for $2,300, for a grand total of $23,406.07.
Any questions for Colleen, our town clerk? Okay. Thank you, Colleen.
Thank you.
Wastewater management for the month of April 2021. Both the Marlborough and Milton wastewater treatment plants complied with the Speedies requirement. The following are monthly statistics for both plants. Marlborough average daily flow was 114,000 gallons per day, about 65% of design capacity. Average BOD removal is 98%. Average suspended solids removal is 98%. The Milton wastewater treatment plant, the average daily flow is 28,000 gallons per day, about 51% of design capacity. Average BOD removal 99%. Average suspended solids removal 93%. Both Both the Marlboro and Milton treatment plants operated normally during the month of April without any major changes or events. The DEC had requested the Marlboro wastewater treatment plant to test its influent for mercury due to the dentist's office connected into the collection system. It is our understanding that mercury will soon become an additional monthly test required on our speedies permit. We have yet received the results from the lab, but the DEC mentioned that depending on what mercury level is detected, a weekly testing schedule may be required. We have also been assisting Bernier Larios engineer firm to create a plan for equipment replacement and upgrades at the Marlboro plant. Overall, both wastewater treatment plants are in good working order, but are getting older. If you need any additional information, please do not hesitate to contact me. Stay safe and healthy. I don't think that mercury is going to be a problem since our dentist in Marlboro left. So unfortunately, I think he was the dentist to a lot of people at the town hall also. So we all have to look for a new dentist. He was the one up at the mini mall, little south of Christchurch there on the west side. So he left, unfortunately. And would you like to do the dog control, Ed? So you don't get
I
left
can't
out?
find it on my. What day did it come in?
I got it, Ed. It's on the reports and on the website.
Yeah, I know. Oh, okay, on the website. I don't have that. Okay.
Town of Marlboro Door Control, this is March 2021 monthly report 3/1/2021 through 3/31/2021. We received a total of 14 calls this month, including 4 calls to service from the New York State Police and Ulster County Sheriff. Responded to 4 active complaints in all cases which are now closed and resolved. We currently have 0 open case of complaint. We impounded 0 stray dogs this month. No appearance tickets were issued this month. There were no dog bites reported this month. There was a high number of dogs running at large reported this month. I would like to urge residents to keep their dogs physically contained while outdoors and not leave the dog outside unattended when you are not home. If you use invisible or electronic fence, please take the time to do necessary maintenance so they continue working as much as most of are running at large. Calls are a result of electronic restraints that are damaged or had dead batteries. Huh, didn't know that. Don't have one of those anyhow. Do you have one of those, Councilman
Yes,
Baker?
absolutely. On Latin Town Road, you gotta be kidding me.
Yeah.
We got the final one for the assessor. Who wants to take that?
I got that.
All right, babe.
I got it. All right, to town board, from Cindy Hilbert, assessor's office. We prepared 4 property tax estimates. We processed 26 real property transfers. We filed our tentative assessment roll on April 30th, 2021. Grievance day will be held on Tuesday, May 25th, 2021. The hours for grievance appointments will be from 1 to 4 p.m. and 6 to 8 p.m. by appointment only. The meetings will be held on via Zoom this year.
Thank you, Ed.
Can I just make a
You're
comment
welcome.
before I forget it, Al?
Yeah.
On that Zoom meeting, Jerry, do we need to coordinate that with Cindy? Or I think we had a problem last year. But I'll contact her, make sure. Maybe I'll have to set it up for her.
Does, who runs that meeting with? Is that Jen from the zoning that runs it?
No,
Cindy
no.
runs it.
Cindy runs it herself?
Yeah.
She had people with her, yeah.
Okay.
Thought she had a problem because there was another meeting trying to.
Yeah, there was.
Yeah, I remember that, Scott.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It was that because it's open for a long period of time. And
Right.
so I'll talk to her. I'll work on it. Don't worry.
All right, I can go up and show her how to use it. I'm sure Jen can show her too. They sit in the same office. She's
Okay.
gotten very good at it.
Okay. All right.
But yeah, we could work that out. Whatever
Okay.
has to be done.
Not a problem. Thank you.
Yeah.
Howard,
Planning board review. Yep, April 2021, first meeting on April 5th. Attendees were Brand, Clark, Lanzetta, LaFaro, Tronsolito, and Garofalo. Agenda approval of the stenographic minutes for 3/1/21. They were approved unanimously. First item was WMG Property Holdings, 565 Latin Road, Marlboro, public hearing subdivision. Public hearing was open and closed without any public input. The applicant will still need to address concerns raised at the March 1st, 2021 meeting. Next item was Marlboro Flats, 8 through 10 Watson Avenue, Milton sketch subdivision. Since the applicant last appeared, new plans were submitted, which rotated the proposed structures 90 degrees. Applicant also addressed technical issues from their last submission. The highway superintendent requested paving to be completed along the shoulder of the roadway. A motion was made and approved to have the planning board attorney prepare seeker negative declaration and resolution of approval for the project to be voted upon at the next meeting. Next item was an Airbnb request on 95 Milhouse Road, Marlboro sketch site plan. The applicant presented initial plans for a bed and breakfast application at the above residence. The board requested a plan of the house depicting what portions of the house would be used by guests in order to comply with the B&B regulations. The applicant was also requested to provide plans for adequate on-site parking. The board also requested from the attorney to clarify whether or not the town board finalized the STR ordinance and what, if any, impact this would have on the proposal. Then the next item was the review of the site plan checklist. The board continued to work on revising this for applicants. And then the next meeting was April 19th, 2021 at 7:30 p.m. Brand, Couchy, Clark, Lanzetta, LaFaro, Tronsolito, and Garofalo were in attendance. They approved the stenographic minutes unanimously. First item on the agenda was HSC Milton LLC Dollar General Route 9W Milton final site plan lot line. The applicant was granted conditional approval via resolution. Next item was WMG Property Holdings, 565 Latin Road in Marlboro, preliminary subdivision. The board reviewed documentation from the Ulster County Highway Department indicating conceptual approval of the proposed driveway with the provision of a site distance triangle be protected with site distances indicated on any deed within the subdivision. Approval from the Ulster County Health Department for the proposed subsurface sanitary sewer system is outstanding. The board authorized the attorney to prepare a secret neg deck and resolution of approval for the applicant to be voted on at the next meeting. Next item was Crimi Baroli, 282 Orchard Street in Marlborough, sketch subdivision. The board discussed several pre-existing zoning deficiencies on one of the two lots. The attorney will require roadway dedication documentation for review. The applicant indicated they would remove a trailer on site due to nonconformity. A public hearing was scheduled for May 17th, 2021. Next item was Rivercrest, Lot 6, 12 Rivercrest Lane in Marlboro, sketch subdivision. The board requested copies of the Ulster County Health Department approval identified on the maps for review by the engineer. The board requested the engineer and/or attorney research the original subdivision filed on May 19th, 1998, entitled American Land Preservation Corporation, to review any previous restrictions, covenants, reservations, rights of way, and any other easement and agreements on further subdivisions. The Highway Department comments on new driveway locations and previous roadway dedications are outstanding. Several other technical issues on the submission were requested to be addressed. Next is Bishop subdivision on New Road and Mahoney Road, New Road and Mahoney Road, Milton, sketch subdivisions. The board reviewed the initial application for proposed two-lot subdivision. The board reviewed several technical deficiencies in the application and asked the applicant to address them. They include updating the submitted EAF, roadway dedication, clarification of depicted rights of way, well and septic rules, grading, bulk table setbacks, site distances, driveways, floor elevations, and culvert locations. The board also requested clarification of a barn depicted on the site. The board also reminded the applicant that the newly created lots less than 5 acres in size need to be proven buildable and asked the applicant to document this requirement. Next item is Schwartz on 71 and 79 Ridge Road, Marlboro, sketch lot line. The applicant proposed a transfer of 0.06 acres and a subsequent transfer of 156 square foot property between 2 adjoining parcels. The board authorized the attorney to prepare a resolution of approval for the applicant to be voted on at the next meeting. Next is the Kent Family Farm, 152 and 178 North Road in Milton, sketch site plan. The board reviewed the applicant's initial application for a farm, winery, and cidery. The board requested clarification of on-site parking, sewer and water, signage, roadway access point, hours of operation, and additional usages. Questions regarding the newly constructed barn and building permitting were also discovered in terms of agricultural usage and public usage. Discussed, I should say. A historic structure on the site was also discussed in terms of hazards to visitors on the site. Public hearing was scheduled for May 17th, 2021. Then there was a discussion without the lawyer, engineer, and/or stenographer. And then there was a review of, there was no discussion without lawyer. There was a review of the site plan checklist. Due to the time, discussions were postponed until the next meeting. Board members were asked to review the last revision to the checklist and to familiarize themselves with the ag and market regulations. Next deadline is April 23rd, 2021. Next scheduled meeting is May 5th, 2021. Respectfully submitted, Chris Brand, Chairman, Town of Marlboro Planning Board.
Thank you, Howard.
You're welcome.
Let's go to the report of committees. Moving right along. Recreation Committee, when is your bocce meeting, Ed?
We had our bocce meeting last Tuesday.
Okay,
We got 16 teams already, and that's what we're going to stick with because it's an even number of teams. We're going to open the season on the week of June 7th. We're going to practice social distancing, and hopefully by that time, anybody that is vaccinated will not have to wear a mask, but still socially distance. We'll see what Ulster County has for us by then. Okay?
thank you, Ed.
You're quite welcome.
Anything else on recreation? Okay. Emergency Preparedness, Management Preparedness Committee
Nothing to report.
report. CAC, no report. IT Committee, we have a resolution before us. So we established an IT fund, and tonight we're going to fund that fund. So we have a resolution before us. I think so far everything seems to be working well. Milton Train Station Foundation, I talked about the meeting with Peter Hoffman on the cameras for the choo-choo trains. Milton Landing Citizens Committee, I think Gail is setting up a Zoom meeting for Thursday. Alan?
Yeah, Thursday. Yeah, with Thursday we're doing the Zoom at 7.
Okay. Nothing on the Milton Marlborough Hamlet Economic Development Committee, no report.
You might want to mention the upcoming meeting, Al, with Mr. Benson.
Okay.
Right.
Say that again, Howard, I'm sorry.
You might want to mention the upcoming meeting with Mr. Benson under
Yeah, so
trail.
we confirmed, Mr. Benson called me, Josh Benson, who's from Tilcon, that he's finally open, and he's gonna take a ride up from New Jersey, wherever he lives, and we're gonna discuss the more addition to the trail at the nature trail. There's quite a bit of property across from the nature trail. And see if we could leave some more of that property, and that'll open it up even more, which would be fantastic. So we have a meeting this Thursday with the Trail Committee from the Economic Committee, a branch of that. So he's excited to come up. I mean, he was excited when he saw that. Now we're going to take him for a little walk to show him what we really want to do. So it's all good stuff. Anything from Meet Me in Marlboro?
No, you saw You saw the request to open up a little earlier, which you all approved. So that's the only thing I've heard from Sheila recently.
Okay. Hammond of Milton Associated Committee, anything going on there, Al?
I haven't heard from Vivian. No, I don't know. I didn't go to they were supposed to do the cleanup on the 25th. I wasn't able to attend. So,
You know, this weather is just too much. I don't,
yeah, it's,
feel like doing anything. I mean, I got my tomato plants in and out of the garage because
yeah,
at night it gets like close to 30 degrees.
yeah, it's crazy. It's, it's heat in the morning and AC in the afternoon. It's
Yeah.
just that time of year.
Doesn't give you too much energy either. You need that
No.
sun. Transfer Station Review Committee. I think Larry's pretty happy up there now that that him and John got
Yeah, no
together
comment.
and solved their problems. So that's good. On the old business, I have no report. Tom Vac, I did talk to Scoofus today. Unfortunately, during the COVID-19 pandemic, things were at a still up there at the government in Albany, but the $850,000, I think, it's moving forward. It actually is in the last stage, so hopefully in a month or two, we may hear something from them. I'm very excited about that. Hopefully it happens sooner than later. Water district improvement, no report on that. I don't know how you feel, gentlemen, but I like to remove the short-term rentals. I think we beat that pretty good. I think we got a good piece of legislation out of that. So I'd like to have a motion to remove that from old business.
I'll make that motion. Remove
Second.
short-term rentals.
Need a second by Alan, Councilman Koenig. All in favor?
Aye.
So moved. Thank you, gentlemen.
Is that something that Tom has added to his report, or how will we get updated on that? How many short-term rental requests we have? Is that something you put in your report, Tom, or?
Well, first, I mean, have you decided how many you're going to allow?
Total for the town? I don't think so.
Right, I don't see that. It's not in the book yet, right? It hasn't passed through Department of State. We haven't got it in the book.
Yeah, it's in the book. It's actually on the code. I saw it on the website.
Got the new pages? I didn't get the new pages yet.
I didn't get them from the general code yet, but it's online now.
I thought I saw them there, yeah.
They might be online, but we didn't get them from general code. So one, they're not in my book. Two, you guys have to decide how many you're going to issue, and then we start issuing them. From there, I'm assuming the list that I made is what they're going to fill out in my office.
Right. We got all that certification and all that ironed out the last time we talked, right? About the fees, about the fire and safety fees that go along with everything is usually about $100.
So they're on the fee schedule? You put them on the fee schedule?
Well, the fee schedule is,
Well-
we haven't done the fee schedule. I mean, isn't it usually $50 and $50 for safety inspection?
For the
We
fire
can't-
inspection fee?
We
Yeah,
passed everything. We set the fees, we set all that. It's gonna go into the new fees, yes. But what we did, the only thing we didn't pass is what Tom's asking is, how many of these are we gonna allow into the town now? Are we gonna say 20? Are we gonna say 30?
I mean,
Limited.
I thought the thing was that we could limit it when we wanted it. If we get 10, we get 10. I mean,
No, you got to set a number. You can't do it
Yeah,
on
we
the fly.
can't.
You got to set a number.
Yeah, we can't do that because if we
got
did
16
say,
or 18 that we know of, right, Tom? 20 that we know of.
We know of zero. There's no, again, I think there's a confusion even at the planning board between a bed and breakfast, which is a home occupation, and a short-term rental. They're different.
But it's an example of a short-term rental. It is an example of a short-term rental, right? A bed and breakfast?
No, not in our code. It's not. The definitions in our code book have them totally separate. Bed and breakfast is not a short-term rental. It's a home occupation according to our code book.
But
Yeah,
that's
okay,
not-
so if you rent
that's
out a-
the new
if you-
code is home occupation. I
What?
asked I asked the attorneys, but then Pat Hines, and then they read our code and they agree that like if I was Al Lanzetta and I had one bedroom that I wanted to do a short-term rental for, that I could do that according to our code.
You had to say that again?
So if Al Lanzetta had one bedroom and I wanted to do a short-term rental for that one bedroom, I could do that.
Maybe. If you don't exceed 50%, and it's not a short-term rental, it's a bed and breakfast because it's home occupation under definition. A short-term rental under definition is the house next door, across the street, or on the same property.
I got that.
By definition.
Or your own house.
So
or
you're
your own
right,
house.
you're right, Tom. There is some confusion. And so I talked to Jerry to make the board and everybody on the same page. So once that comes in, I'll send it to everybody and you
Yeah.
can disagree or agree.
Yeah, because the reason we did the short-term rentals is for people who couldn't conform to the B&Bs, who wanted to rent and didn't want to live there. So
That's
that had a lot to do
No,
with it.
a short-term rental includes a bed and breakfast.
But we
Does
had,
not.
no, Howard, we had to
Does
do it
not.
because we had people, no, we had people
In our
who
code,
wanted
it
to
does.
create
Yes,
a
it
bed and
does.
breakfast, but not live in the
Not
bed
in
and
our
breakfast.
code, it don't.
I'm saying,
Short-term rental is you can have it in your residence, you can have it in
Wrong.
an adjacent residence, or
But
an accessory
before-
building on your property.
But
Three
before,
cases.
a B&B was owner occupied, and if it wasn't owner occupied, it was illegal. That's why we came up with the short-term rental.
I don't
That's why
agree
we
with
did
you
it.
guys. I mean.
What?
we have to
So
correct
read me your definition of a short-term rental. Pull it out of the code. What does it say?
yeah,
It
but
is
if
your-
you
it is
use
your
it
own
as a
res-
short-term
residence?
rental,
No, that's incorrect. It's not the definition of a short-term rental in our code book.
I think it is,
You
but I'll have to
know
go
it's
back
not.
and review it again then. I'm
You-
making a mistake.
You guys
I
passed
thought
it. That's
was
not the
your own-
definition.
you know, so listen,
All right.
we'll get clarification and this way everybody could be on the same page.
My only question is, once we get this into effect, who reports on it so we have an idea of how much activity is? This other discussion is, we'll have to get that resolved, but bed and breakfast, in my thinking, is an example of a short-term rental, so.
So I'll get the definition corrected
Yep.
and everybody can look at it, disagree or agree.
But I
Okay.
think we
So I don't
also,
want to spend too much time on short-term rentals.
Yeah.
So
I don't want to spend too much
Confusing
time
topic.
either, Al, but I think we also have to figure out what, if we're going to have a limit, we need to set it because we can't just let it go and then say, oh, okay, we're full. So we should actually have a limit, something that the town that's in black and white that says we're going to go up to this amount, whether it's 30, 40, I don't know, but we have to come up with at least that number and have that set benchmark.
Yeah, I mean, it was supposed to be set up just like the towing list, right? You're gonna have so many
Yeah.
short-term rentals, and then we could expand it at the reorg every year if we so choose to. That's what I thought how we were doing.
Yes. I think you're-
yeah, we can move forward on that. Okay. I'll clarify all that and we could think about, how many we want into town. So, new business. I sent everybody the license agreement for the permit for the kayak. East Coast Outfitters, someone wants to operate Thursday to Sunday, 9 to 5, seasonal. We have that, I sent that lease agreement to everybody. The only thing we didn't fill in is the amount we'd like to see. Do we want to charge them weekly, monthly, daily? What's the board's desire?
I kind of looked at the licensing agreement, Al. I think that looks good. I also looked at what Scott had done with as far as I know we talked about at the last meeting, that the landing park is kind of like a unique park to the town. It's on the waterfront, poses a few problems, but it also has some great advantages. I saw in the license
sent you the
agreement,
picture
which,
of his vehicle.
yeah, I saw all that. I actually like his setup. I think it looks good. It's definitely quality stuff. And I think it'll bring, like I said at the last meeting, I think it's going to bring a different clientele to the town, a new clientele, not different, but new. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
People to come in and actually see the town. I know there had been a monetary figure thrown around of very low, like $1 or something like that, and I couldn't agree with it back then. I can't agree with it now.
I backed off from that. I was just.
No, I know.
You know,
Yeah,
just,
no, I know.
it was just something new.
Yeah,
It's a service to the town, and he was a veteran, like he said, he don't want to use that as a, you know, handicap or whatever, but I'm just saying that it's new. It's what you guys, I have my own opinion what it should be, but I don't know if you want to do it daily,
Well-
weekly, or monthly.
I kind of like, Scott threw out those tables of what we do with, with the Tom Vec building and with the pavilions and stuff like that. And I think this business plan of his works, not Scott's, but the individual that's going to do the, I guess Mr. Murphy's going to do it. But I'm kind of thinking like, in all fairness, I think for like the 4 days or in the block of 3 plus the 1, I mean, I'm kind of thinking like $85 to come in and do that, because the only reason I'm saying is I'm not trying to be unfair to him, but we also going to have to realize this. I mean, that business is great. It's going to bring in, he's got 4 pieces, right? He had three kayaks and 1 canoe, or 2 canoes and 2 kayaks. But you're talking about, you're going to be taking away parking spaces from the town for a good cause, but still parking spaces away.
Yeah, it's on the side, but you know where he's.
No, but he's going to be on the side, but there's still going to be people coming down there to do the rentals. You know what I mean? So you're going to have that vehicular traffic, his vehicle as well. So 5 in the trailer. So we'll call that 5 in all. It depends on, and it's not just him, but it's going to be for other businesses that come in and actually going to want to rent the space. I think we need to set that precedent, because they're going to have to actually pay for themselves. We're not looking to make money off them. I don't think the $85 figure does, but it would cover an extra porta potty if need be. If we get another business, especially if we get a food vendor in there, this could attract garbage. I know we're having big garbage issues right now. This could even add to that. So we may have to look at a garbage issue. I just feel that the town has to take in something monetarily, not a lot, and I don't think this is going to hurt him. I looked over his schedule of what his fees are. He could pay with 1 trip. He can pay for everything for the week. So we're not out to take money from them, but I think the town has to take something in, because we're going to have to cover some extra, expenditures. And I don't want this to snowball into something where we're giving it
You're
away.
talking the 4 days? The 4 days?
The 3 day, I think we had it blocked into 3 days.
No, he has.
And then we can add, there was an addition. I know he has 4. He wants Thursday to Sunday, so he wants 4. So no, I know his is
Friday,
4.
Saturday, and Sunday.
Yeah, I know.
And Wednesdays, he like to do all veterans free. I think that was his take. He didn't know how it was going to go.
How it was going to go.
And obviously, you wouldn't have to pay for days that he's not there because it's raining.
Yeah, no. But I mean, it would be, I kind of feel that we need to be somewhere in maybe the 85 for the 3, and then an additional for the 4th day, or, I mean, I'm just throwing it out there, guys. I just can't see it being.
You saying 85 a week, Alan? Basically.
Would you think $15 would be fair for the starter a day? Like $60 a week? That's $240 for the month?
So guys, if you looked at my proposal, which goes by all our other proposals that we use for rental, it's $60 for the 3 days plus $15 for any additional day. It's exactly in the ballpark of what you're talking about. So I think we should stay consistent with our rental procedures. We have procedures that we're already using that we use. The town clerk's office uses them. We have them written up. If we're in that ballpark of that number, I think we should stay consistent with that. There's a resident and a non-resident price, and this is only for recreational fees. We could then alter this to food vendor ones, and you change the price.
This is a special lease, but this
You
lease.
can punch this number into that lease, but this is what we can use it by, basically,
So
you could say.
what are you recommending, Scott?
Well, if I'm going by what Alan said, if he's saying, well, Alan said $85 for the week. I mean, my thing is it's $60 for 3 days plus 15, so that's $75 for the week.
Sounds good.
So I don't know if you compromise to something like that, and then.
Well, here's my opinion. I mean, you know how the summer months start.
There you go again, Ed.
It's probably only 3 days a week because we're going to get weather one day anyhow. So he's probably going to play
I
$6
can
a week.
understand you, Ed.
So it's probably, that's fine. I mean, and I think the Wednesday should be free. What?
Yeah, Wednesday's free.
I can't hear you.
Wednesday's a Veterans Day, so that was a free day, right?
Free, yes. So
Right, that should be
Friday,
free.
Saturday, Sunday, right? It's the 4 days, right?
So it's
Right.
$60 would be. the
So
fee, right?
$60 for the 3 days, which is like, again, it's consistent how we charge Cadia, but at a 40% reduction in rate. Cadia pays $100 for 3 days. So what I did is I took a 40% deduction because we don't have building cost, right? We don't have electric,
have
we
no
don't have
electric.
that. So that brought that down to $60 based on the same formula. And then I said $15 for any additional day for the week. So if he's doing 4 days, that would be $75 per week.
Thursday, Friday,
That's
Saturday, Sunday.
exactly, that's what I said.
Yep, right. So that's kind of like what we're all, I think we're all
Yeah,
kind of
it's 15 bucks
somewhere
a
around there.
day. Then give them Veterans Day, the veterans on Wednesday. a free
So you
ride.
guys are saying 60, you're saying just the 60 for the week then,
60.
No,
No,
60
no.
plus the 15, 75.
75.
It's close to
Yeah,
what you
again,
said, 80.
I don't want to take money out of his pocket. I think he can easily cover that. I just think that we need to, as a town, just be able to, put that money back into what services that we're gonna have to expend. That's all.
I'm okay with the 75. You okay with the 75, Alan?
I'm fine with
I'm
75,
good.
yeah.
Everybody good with that?
Only question is,
Yep.
what if it's we have a hurricane or, inclement.
No, he doesn't pay if he doesn't use. No, he doesn't pay if he doesn't use it. That's
Okay.
my opinion.
So if he's closed, he's not
If it's
paying.
a rainy day, he doesn't pay.
Yeah, if he's closed, he's closed. Yeah, if it's raining or windy and he can't
Yeah.
operate,
That's
he's
okay.
closed.
Yeah,
That's
honor-
fine. I
Honor
don't-
system, he's gonna turn in his days or something like that.
yeah, I don't think that would be a problem. We all have weather apps, so we'll
I don't
know.
think I think that he's very honest in what he's doing. He's
Yeah,
compassionate in what he's doing.
Yep.
So I think
And I
he's
don't-
doing a great job.
I
I
own a
agree.
kayak and it's not easy to do when it's raining, nor do I want to do it when it's raining. So I doubt people would even come down if it was raining.
He already said he was not going to close. He was going to close any inclement
Yeah.
days.
Yeah.
So we'll put that in the lease.
I think
Yep.
John had a question or a comment. Did you, Tom?
No, I mean, I can either talk towards public comment or I could give you the definitions. It's up to you. I'll wait till the public comment if you want.
It's up to Al.
So we're good with that, gentlemen?
Yes.
That
Yes.
amount? Okay, thank you very much.
I just had one question about that. For the kayak rentals, will the town have any liability?
Yeah,
if-
he has to give all his insurance, all his working comp, all that is, he has to show that to the building inspector, make sure that, or the town clerk, make sure we have all that.
So if someone gets in the kayak, doesn't know really what they're doing, gets
Yeah,
out in that water.
That's all fully covered on his insurance.
Okay, great.
He also said that he would train anybody that was going to go in the kayak before they ever went in the kayak.
There's also a section in there, Mary Beth, in the license agreement in section 2 that releases the town from assuming all responsibilities and
Perfect.
all the things like that.
Yeah, so
Now, not to say that someone could still fight that and come
Right,
after us, but
right.
it is actually in the lease agreement.
Because that current is strong, and if you
Yep.
don't know what you're doing, it could be
Yep.
dangerous. Okay, that was my only.
Definitely.
So, and also the lease is, if he's not satisfied, he could break the lease. If we're not satisfied, we could break the lease. It's one of those leases. So it's drawn up by our attorney, so it covers a lot of stuff. Okay. So I put this down in new business. Town board in-person meetings, so I didn't know these guys, as far as now as, I think the executive order still stands as far as the end of May. I don't know if you guys are thinking about coming back and being some kind of normalcy, or you want to wait, or maybe set a date to July, August, or how you want to play it?
I really don't have any problem doing it this way, to be honest
I
with you.
know you don't.
No, I'm serious. I'm gonna be honest with you. If you go back and you look, and these are all recorded, our attendance has been better throughout the pandemic. I guarantee you than it has pre-pandemic. We've had more people come into these meetings and speak and become active participants.
I understand that. you understand, as supervisor, I have to ask the question because a lot
No,
of
I get
people
you.
ask
And
for
I'm
me.
giving you an answer, and that's
Yeah,
the answer I just gave you.
absolutely.
So
Does the
as
order
a
not
councilman,
expire?
I answered you.
A lot of towns are doing in-person meetings and stuff like that. So if the board feels comfortable to continue this way, I have no problem with that, but I just had to ask the question.
Well, I like, it's okay Zoom, but I don't think we get as much. Well, you're right, Alan. I seen we do get guests come in, but I don't know. It just seems it's more difficult. I think we ought to consider going back to live meetings, but I understand you guys are working. So if this is more convenient for you, I can live with that. But there are people that used to attend regularly that don't attend because we're.
Let's look at it in July.
Yeah.
And the last meeting in June, we'll see if we want to continue or if maybe the executive order from the governor will be, let's find out. I just wanted to put it in your mind to think about it. That's all.
Like
And
Scott,
also-
right now, you wouldn't be able to attend this meeting otherwise, right?
No, I would take off. I
You
would
would
leave.
take work off. Yeah, I know. So it's an advantage for you. I
I
understand.
mean, it's
that.
an advantage, but the thing is, I talked to Mike, I think you were there too, Al. We were talking to Mike Bacachus, and the school district is looking into doing something with us that when we go back live, like in person, that they kind of still have this capability as we're doing our live
Yes.
meetings. So
Right.
people could kind of watch a Zoom and actually ask questions at our meetings if we're in person.
Right.
So like a combination of both.
Right. And so you could work and participate if you wanted to.
Yeah, so like
That's
people that
absolutely
don't want to
agree
come
with
to the meeting room, but want to do this, like
Yeah.
Mary Beth, like, right, she wants to just sit there and it's nice. She
Right.
could actually be on one of our screen TVs that we have down there and we could see them. And maybe they could ask a question, right?
Yeah.
Perfect.
I was thinking of that too, the conversation we had with Michael.
Yeah,
So we will, in fact, I just was at a graduation for my daughter Brianna, who just got her nursing pin, and it was on YouTube. So it was live on YouTube. You go to the station, they tell you where the Dutchess Community College, and there you are, right?
yep.
And
We did that here originally, right, Jerry?
Yeah.
So let's revisit it. I just want to put the seed in your brain and see, I know, I love this, believe me.
You know, some people don't love it. Some people, older people don't.
Yeah,
Participate.
you don't like it. All right.
I didn't
just
really
thought I'd
see
brought
them
that
there
up.
before. So.
What's that?
I said I didn't really see anybody who's complaining at any of our meetings before, though. You know what I mean? That's
No,
what I'm saying.
I
Nobody came to our meetings. Nobody. The news
Nobody
people
did,
was there.
except,
Jared.
except one
The
gentleman.
chief
who
of
you
police
know.
and the newspaper. That was it.
That's right. But that was the law. So that was the open meetings law. You had to have the meetings for the public. So it's a new age. So let's see what happens. So the big thing is the Sands Avenue Park. I know Scott and Councilman Baker have been down there, and they've been sending emails, and we've been texting, and like I said, Keith's been down there with his bulldozer. Things are looking great. The transformation is just unbelievable. The Sandy Loom's coming in from Mr. Philisello from Duke. The big excavator was up there doing the pad, and I think talking to Keith this morning, he's going to bring his roller down to compact it. So things are moving at Sands Avenue. Wouldn't you agree, Mary Beth? You like that? What's going on?
Unmute. So that's why I really wanted to be at the meeting tonight, just to really express my gratitude and let everybody know how it's just unbelievable. It looks really, I mean, even though it's not finished, it really looks great, much improved. And so thank you very much. Thank you.
You're welcome.
You're welcome.
You know,
Alan?
very often in a small complex or in a small street, you know, it tends to get ignored, but it's really nice. Very, very nice. So thank you very much.
A lot of hard work. gone into it, so.
Yeah,
a lot of,
and they've been working every single day.
Yeah.
Really, it looks great.
Yeah, a
Thank-
lot of talented people.
Yeah, thank
Yeah.
you.
Thank you. Thank the board.
Mhm.
So what's what is the two gentlemen? Alan, do you like to say something? I'm sorry.
No, I was there
Oh, I
today,
thought you had
actually.
your hand up.
No, I'm just messing around. It looks great, though. I was there today. It looks fantastic.
Yeah, it's fantastic. So the ask is to continue. We want to ask for more monies for Sandy Loom. Gentlemen, take the floor.
Well, the
Please.
the proposal that I'd like to put before us is that we, continue with the Sandy Loom, and that would be up to 2,000 more tons to completely cover the area, including the knoll that was just graded down. So that would be 36,000. And then Scott, correct me if I'm wrong,
Yep.
then maybe another 10,000 to cover planting of trees in what Scott calls Section A, which is the front area where Mr. Zambito is concentrating on making that look nice. So planting trees there, buying the trees, planting them, and possibly hydroseeding that area, because that's where the topsoil that's going to be donated would go. And I think 10K would cover that. So 36 for the Sandy Loam to get everything covered, and another 10K to get some trees in there and topsoil and hydroseeded and stuff like that. And so that would be 46K that maybe we could consider transferring or making available to get Section A under control. Is that right, Scott? Is that what we're?
It would go
Yeah,
out to bid for the hydroseeding.
Well, the bids are out for all the hydroseeding for Section A, Section B, and the planting of the trees. So me and Howard had a discussion up there the other day, is that those bids are probably gonna come in this week. I actually asked them to have them in by Friday, the latest. So once we get them in, we don't wanna wait another 2 weeks to say, okay, let's go, because in talking to all of the landscapers, they're concerned about the weather and Sandy Loom and hydroseeding, because if you wait, you're not gonna really be able to do it. So, and I think most of them said like Section B, which is the main section, we may have to wait to fall to do hydroseeding if we really want it to take, and we don't want to waste our money. But we can get Section A, the front section, so when you come in, looking nice, as of now. And I can't thank enough. I know he's on the Zoom right now, but Dave Zambito's done like a tremendous amount of work down there. 2 hours here, 3 hours there. He was down there on Mother's Day, right? And Fort Jen was like in the car. I mean, so he's done a lot of work, and we'd really like to get that front section done, guys. And I think you do too. Eventually we're going to do this. And we're fortunate enough that we were able to get rec fees in, right, Al? So, we do have the monies, which is good. And that's the only concern is there's other monies that we're going to ask for to finish this park in the coming months. And that's why it was concerning to say, at the other park now to start spending more money, because we're going to push our limits, because we're going to have to re-blacktop. We're going to have to bring in millings. We're going to have to put in a pathway, and there's more trees to be planted. So, I think Howard's hit it right on the head that if we could ask up to another 46 or just top it off, say $50,000, no more than that at this point, because we don't know what the bids are going to come in, but just say up to $50,000 at this point would be.
Yeah. So talking to Keith and talking to Duke, it's a iffy if it's less than or it's more than 1,000. So I would suggest, like you guys are suggesting, that if we had to pull back, if we didn't need the 2 tons, if we needed just a certain time to cover that hill. But I would recommend also, I would agree with you to go for the 36,000 for the 2,000 ton. And then the 10,000 is for the trees, or
buying some of the trees, not all of the trees. The trees.
Some of the trees, planting of the trees, and hydroseeding the front section. Now we don't know exactly what that number is going to be, because again, the bids are coming back. We're guesstimating that it shouldn't be more than that. and I'm not gonna put Dave on the spot because he's one of the bidders, so I don't even want to.
Yeah, that we
no,
don't want to. We'll
We're
get
just
ourselves in
we're
trouble already.
guesstimating what we might need to spend, but so like if it's more than that, let's just say, when we have a little wiggle room because of the dirt, maybe we won't use all the dirt money. So if we say expend up to no more than $50,000 in this section for now, we should be good because
Yeah, we should be good.
So is Keith, so the 2,000 more tons,
yeah,
would that entail Keith's price also, right? That we would have to
Yep.
add another $5,000 to that?
Yep.
Yep,
well, it depends on, he's doing a lot of work. So he leveled off the top of that hill that we originally
Beautiful.
didn't ask him to, and he did an unbelievable job.
Yep.
So
Got rid
there's
of
gonna
that
be a little.
fence.
Yeah, he took the fence down, he's rolling it. I mean, he's actually staked out a spot for the pavilion today.
yep,
So in that section, John wants to put, item 4. He talked about putting millings first, but he's thinking maybe item 4 might be better. So if we actually put that in there, again, we're not gonna be putting sandy loom in there, which means we may
Right.
not have to use as much dirt, right? So we do need dirt though on the eastern side of the parking lot.
Right.
We did have dirt delivered on the western side, and Dave did do that on this weekend and leveled that out nicely.
right.
But we are gonna need some dirt on the eastern side. So whatever we were gonna put in that pavilion section, we put over in that section.
Yeah, so your suggestion, both of you, Councilman Corcoran and Councilman Baker, that the vote, that the board passes expenditure of $50,000, 36,000 for Sandy Loom for JKN trucking, and 10,000 for the trees and planting.
Right, and then a 4K contingency on top of that to get to 50K.
Yeah.
And just so everybody knows, and correct me if I'm wrong, so we have 94,000 in the rec fund now, and we have another 156,000 going to be transferred in there from the rec fee, so that's $250,000
Right.
that we would withdraw this money from. And that money would be, if we approve this 50K right now, plus the 30K we already approved, so we're 86,000 into this at this.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, we're fortunate enough that we do have a good fund now in those rec fees, so it
Right.
came at the right time, so.
It did.
Let's get it done.
It all
I
fit
say we
in.
get it done.
Yep, let's do it.
Who makes in that motion? You, Alan?
I'll make that motion.
Need a
To-
second?
Good,
I'll
Scott.
second it.
Councilman Baker, all in favor?
Aye.
So
Aye.
moved. Thank you very much, gentlemen. Thank you, Mr. Zambito.
Thank you, Dave.
I saw him on Mother's Day too.
Yeah,
So, here's another item. I don't know, that I put down was the Cluett Chance Memorial Day Park Athletic Field Lighting Design Task Order 04. Came into a situation where I don't know if the poles are high enough, like I discussed before. Thanks to Tom Corcoran, we did get some lighting. The lighting was, I think, for use, those poles were used for parking lot, so they had different ways. It was meant for a steel pole. If we're gonna do it, we have to do it right, get it engineered, find out what's the proper lighting for efficiency, like Councilman Koenig mentioned the other day, the height. So the task, I think, is asking for $11,000 to do all that, to find out what the electrical is, what the proper lighting is, what the height of we can maybe use those 35-foot poles that are there. 5 feet goes in the ground, 30 feet above. Been trying it all different ways, talking to all different people. It seems to relate right back to engineering to find out what is the right thing to do. So I asked McGooey House and Netzel at the request of the board. They came up with this task. As you know, because of them being our engineers, their hourly rate is a lot less than if we were a private entity. So I sent that to everybody and just want their opinion of how to move forward with this or not move forward.
Oh, boy. So this $11,000 is for engineering? to
Yeah.
See if we can.
Hourly estimate is $11,000 for the task. You know, if we're not gonna do it, fine, but I think we really need to have this engineered out. I don't know if you agree or disagree, but my opinion is I'm shooting in the dark here. You know, I don't know if the poles are the right poles. The lights are definitely, they can't find any nomenclature on the lights. The lights, they got these big bulbs in, so I think they're not efficient. They definitely.
My only thing about the lights up there, and of course, I've been an advocate of putting lights up there. But if we put lights up there, are the fields going to be used? That's, I mean, that, you know, we're spending a lot of money and they're not being used. I mean, we actually have the lease at Young's Field is through us. It's almost better to put lights at Young's Field, which we know gets used, but.
Yeah, it's not our property, but.
I know, but I'm just saying is, if we put
But
lights up on the top part of the field, are
They
they
have
going
soccer
to
up
use it?
there. They do play
baseball?
soccer. I went up there the other day and there was a lot of people up there.
Yeah, but is there a soccer league using it? Is there the baseball league using it? Like they
The
used to in the
soccer
past?
league was using it at the time I went up there. There was a lot of people.
The baseball
'cause-
fields or the soccer fields?
They upstairs, up where the two boys,
The upper land.
The upper one.
the upper fields, they were being used. I think they would be used if you put the proper lighting in there. I think, you know, build them and they would come. I mean, it's not saying that we'll be able to afford to put the lighting there, but should know exactly what entails of
Yeah,
putting
'cause
the
it's-
proper lighting in there.
Because it sounded like now, I mean, we're gonna go with an $11,000 expenditure for the engineering to see what would work and where. But we don't, I guess the one thing we do have maybe is the poles, because the poles may come back to be the wrong height. And the lights, you're saying they can't find the nomenclature, so they may be antiquated. I mean, so we might be spending $11,000 to figure out, we don't even know how much money we need at the end at this point. You know what I mean? What's a pole,
Well,
what's a light cost?
Yeah, the board approved putting like a mother pole in there with a light that all the electricity would come off.
Yeah.
And
No, I
that
know
would be
that.
metered. You know, so depending on that whole structure of, you know, if you went out for an RFP, you would need the engineering cost. You would need what has to be done on that pole as far as, you know,
No, I get that. I
the
understand
meter. Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, entails a lot of things with that 11,000.
I mean, if you really want to light up that fields up there, you could easily spend 100,000 like without blinking an eye.
Oh, easily.
I don't know.
So I mean, what I'm saying is if we get to that point, do we spend 11,000 to be told it's going to cost us 100,000 and then
No,
we're
we're
not
not
going
gonna
to
do
can't
it.
afford 100,000?
Well, there might be in preparation like we always do is that we look forward and there might be some grants and stuff. So now we have exactly what we have to do for the grant.
Or
Are they
agenda
just-
item.
You know,
Just let me throw this out there. Are there companies, and maybe Tom would know this more than me, are there companies that specialize in stadium lighting that we could talk to and say, or stadium or indoor field lighting? Have them come in and say, here's what you would need, here's what and here's what would probably cost, and we can do the engineering, we can get you here, and we can do this. I have no idea what it entails, like, you know,
Sure.
monetarily what it would entail. You know, is it 100,000? Is it $200,000? Is it 50? I don't know.
You want, I could get a guy to come in here and do it for nothing.
I would be comfortable with a guy coming in and saying, because here's what I do, and this happens in my industry a lot. I have customers, they don't know if they can afford a truck based on their budget. I come in, I give them a meeting, I do a preliminary design of a fire truck. I say, ballpark guys, in this configuration, your truck is going to cost X amount of hundreds of thousands of dollars. And they tell me, well, we only have this amount. I say, well, then, you know, you're going to have to change your plan. You're going to have to go to a different chassis. they're not, they don't go ahead and go out for a permissive referendum on the money they have. They consult with me to see where they need to be. I'm just wondering if there's somebody like that in this area, Tom, that maybe you would know to come in and say, guys, if you're gonna do this, pardon the pun, but you're gonna be in the ballpark of, X amount of dollars.
Yes.
That's what I would like to have done, as opposed to spending 11.
I have
Then we
no
can
problem
say,
with that.
yeah, then we can say, all right, let's get an $11,000 plan, or let's just go with this company and get 3 quotes or go out to bid and, have these companies bid on it. I think that would be the best, to me, that would be the
I
best
don't have a
avenue.
problem with that as long as the specs are out there where, this one person that's doing it for free puts the specs out and we know exactly, what we're dealing with. I mean, that requires.
Well, he was the guy
right?
who originally gave us the specs. He was the guy who I bought the lights from, and he turned in the specs on how many poles we needed, how high they were supposed to be, how many lights went on each pole, where the poles had to be planted, the electricity that had to go to a pole, what it needed to be fed. So he gave us all that already. I mean,
But we can't find that.
yeah, I'll track him down again.
See if you can reach out to them again, John. I think that would be great. Then we would know.
The thing is too, that I'm concerned is that those lighting fixtures, the end of the lighting fixtures are for steel poles. So I don't know how you connect those to a utility pole.
They were designed to go on wood.
We have them on the pole right now. That's on the soccer field that we use right now.
Oh, those are the same lights.
I know they are, and that's a wood pole.
How did they connect to the, I'm just asking.
I don't know. I don't know.
They probably
They go on a rack. You buy the rack.
The end
The
of
the lights get mounted to the rack. The rack gets mounted to the pole.
I don't know how it was on there, but if you go up to the park now, right, those lights that are on the wooden pole that's shining on the soccer field, and then there's another light that shines down on the pavilion, that's on the pole and those are the lights that we used, right?
Right.
Correct.
So
they
if you
can
could
be
do that,
connected.
Tom, that'd be
I'm
great.
not saying they're the
If you
right
could tell us
lights.
how to do it, fine.
I mean, but I
I
would say,
asked that last time. I asked that and you said that
Yeah,
you didn't know where they were. I said, I don't have the
Yeah.
specs.
I don't know where they are. I have no idea where it is. Can I ask another favor and have him come in and do it? Yeah, I'll pull another favor and call him.
Okay.
I think that's a good starting point before we go into that. Why not?
I don't have a problem with that.
Yeah, I think that'd be the best.
That's
way.
11,000 more we could spend at the park. I don't know.
Either one.
Which park?
Either one, or you spend $11,000 more on poles. Who knows? We'll figure something out. But I just can't see. I get the reason why we do the engineering, but I think we're missing. Let's take a step first before we do that. That's
Okay.
all.
It's a good suggestion.
Listen, my concern was if we did it and we didn't do it right, shame on us. That's all. And
Yeah,
so
we
if
wanna
we
do
get
it
the
right.
data from Tom, from his guy, fine and dandy.
Let's try it.
Okay,
Okay.
so we're moving right along. I have some correspondence. So I have a correspondence from the League of Women Voters as a Marlboro resident and a member of the board of the League of Women Voters of the Mid-Hudson region. I'm requesting the use of Milton train station on June the 16th and a waiver of the fees. The League of Women Voters of the Mid-Hudson region does nonpartisan community work in voter education, registration, moderates candidate debates, and works in schools for civic engagement. It'd be my honor to be able to host our next annual meeting to showcase our historic rehabilitated train station and talk about some of the exciting things happening in our community. And this is from Dare Thomas. And I think we're good for June the 16th, Colleen?
Yes, we are.
Guys, I hope we don't get kicked off. I set this for 2 hours. I don't know if it's going to kick us off or not. So
Okay, I'll move fast. So I need a motion to waive the fees for June 16th for the League of Women Voters.
I'll
I
make
make
that.
that.
Also, I
Second.
received a email from Bridget Supernova basically I'll send this out. I send it to the county. It's all about vaccinations. And she has a great bunch of suggestions. Unfortunately, I tried to reach Ms. Supernova and I wasn't able to, but a lot of this stuff depends on the county. A lot of the stuff that led us to Dr. Neal was from the county, and Mark Ritter and all that stuff with the setting up for the last vaccine from the county. They come in, they tell us who to call, and we do that. But basically, we have really not that much control. We could ask, but we don't have any control of people drive in to our migrant workers and stuff like that. Great ideas. I sent that up to county. And if Bridget wants to talk to me a little bit more about that, I will, and I'll pass it on to the rest of the board. Any public comments? Okay.
I'm here.
You got one out.
Yeah, oh, I'm sorry, Tom.
Definition of a short-term rental that we adopted, it's in our code. The rental by a tenant or any part of a furnished, self-contained, detached dwelling unit for a period of 30 days or less. And it goes on and on. But obviously, self-contained, detached dwelling unit is the key term for that. So it's got to be detached. Bed and breakfast, a home occupation allowing overnight accommodation in a residential structure which takes place in an owner-occupied structure. It goes on from there. Two different definitions. They're not the same.
Okay, thank you,
I think
Tom.
we have a problem.
I get clarification on our code, and I'll send it out to everybody.
Thanks.
Appreciate it. So moving along, we have the resolution 51. Supervisor Lanzetta proposes the following, whereas the town board needs to approve the transfer of funds, be resolved that the town board of the town of Marlboro hereby approves the following transfer of funds: the transfer of $500,000 from highway fund balance DA.200 to highway heavy equipment DA.0203.004 to replace the 2009 truck number 10, approximately $207,000, and the 2007 street sweeper, which is under $300,000, and moves for its adoption.
Corcoran.
Yes.
Councilman Malinelli.
Sorry.
Nope.
That's
Eddie.
it, yes.
Yes.
Councilman Koenig.
Yes.
Councilman Baker.
Yes.
Supervisor Lanzetta.
Yes, thank you, Colleen.
I guess they're not going to kick us off, so.
Good.
No.
Yes, still recording.
So resolution number 52 to authorize a legal notice in the paper for the Milton Train Station Park site. And we had that discussion with John, and so I'd like to move forward on the resolution. Colleen, would you poll the board, please?
Councilman Corcoran.
Yes.
Councilman Malinelli.
Yes.
Councilman Koenig.
Yes.
Councilman Baker.
Yes.
Supervisor Lanzetta. Supervisor Lanzetta.
Yes. Resolution 53. What happened to 53? Yes. So resolution 53 to approve an in-house audit of the town of Marlborough Justice Court, Town Clerk, Planning Department, and Building Department. Supervisor Lanzetta proposes the following: whereas an audit was conducted of the town of Marlborough Justice Court, Town Clerk, Planning Department, and Building Department for the year 2020, and whereas the report of the audit was provided to all town board members for their approval, we resolve that the town board of the town of Marlborough acknowledges and accepts the audits and votes for approval. Colleen?
Councilman Corcoran.
Yes.
Councilman Malinelli.
Yes.
Councilman Koenig.
Yes.
Councilman Baker.
Yes,
Yes, and I'd like to thank Chris for doing that.
great job.
Supervisor Lanzetta.
Yes, thank you. Resolution 54, transfer of funds. Supervisor Lanzetta proposes the following, whereas the town board needs to approve the transfer of funds and be resolved that the town board of the town of Marlborough hereby approves the following transfer of funds to transfer $50,000 from the general fund balance A.0200 to the IT reserve account A.0230.005 for further use of computers and software. And moves for its adoption.
Corcoran,
Yes.
Councilman Malinelli,
Yes.
Councilman Koenig,
Yes.
Councilman Baker,
Yes.
Supervisor Lanzetta.
Yes. Resolution 55 to increase the town of Marlborough water rate. Unfortunately, Supervisor Lanzetta proposed the following, where the town of Marlborough needs to increase the water rate by $1 per 1,000 gallons, and whereas 60 cents of that increase is a one-time billing in June to cover the deficit, and 40 cents of that increase is for all future billing to cover the cost of the increase from Newburgh Water. Be resolved that the following rates are approved for the June 2021 building. $9.31 per 1,000 gallons up to 100,000 gallons per use. $10.31 per 1,000 gallons up to 200,000 gallons used. 11.31 per 1,000 gallons up from 2001 gallons used. We further resolve that after the June billing, the rate will decrease by 60 cents and moves to adoption.
Councilman Corcoran,
Unfortunately, yes.
Councilman Malinelli,
Yes.
Councilman Koenig,
Yes.
Councilman Baker,
Yes.
Supervisor Lanzetta.
Yes, and that's due to the increase in rates at Newburgh. And unfortunately, when the aqueduct is shut down, we might have to increase more because of the backup. So just preparing everybody from that, unfortunately. So, great meeting, guys. Really appreciate your input. Moving forward, and looking forward to seeing you at the end of May. And I think Al's been awful quiet here. Got something to say, Al?
Yeah, that was a 2-hour meeting, guys. That was a long one, and kind of glad it's over. Not that not that I don't want to see anybody, but it's time for bed. So
Okay, take care.
I asked for a motion for adjournment.
Second,
There you go.
I'll second.
all in favor?
Aye.
So
Good night, all.
thank you, Chief.
Good night, everybody.
Everybody.
Bye.
Great job.
Thanks.
Aye.
Good night.
And now